Hi, my name is Maya and welcome to part 2 of this video where I'm ranking all the summer garments I have ever knit for myself. So, as I mentioned, this is part 2, and if you haven't watched part 1 yet, I strongly recommend you go and watch it first, because I am doing this in chronological order, which means that if you watch this first and then go back to the beginning of my knitting journey, it's gonna be weird. So I recommend you go and watch the first video now. And the second reason is that I'm not going to repeat again all the details of how I'm doing the ranking and how I'm grading everything I've made until now, because I'm detailing all of this in the first video and it's not necessary, I think, to explain everything again. So if you haven't watched that video, you can go back now. I will put the link to it somewhere up here. But if you have already watched it, I'm just going to go very quickly into the PSAs for today's video. So I'm going to do a tier list, which means I'm going to rank all the garments in a 5-system grades thing, but it's with letters. So the best rank is S, and then it goes down to A, B, C and D. And like S is absolutely perfect and flawless and I wear it all the time and I have nothing to say against it. And D is like completely worthless and there is not a single good point about the garment. And most of them I have already frogged, or they are just destined to be frogged. And everything in between, I'm going to explain in each case why I'm putting it in each grade. Now, on top of that, I'm going to answer 3 questions for each garment. The first question is, how often do I wear the garment, or do I wear it at all? And if I do wear it, how well did it hold over time and wear? Like, did the fiber peel, or did the yarn stretch out, or did the garment lose its shape, or something like that? And the third question is, do I recommend the pattern and the yarn? Now, there is a bonus question I'm going to answer only at the end for all the garments at once, which is, if I saw this specific garment in a shop and it was $1 or €1 or whatever, would I buy it? And if the answer is no, well, it means that this is not even worth $1 for me, so I really don't need to keep that in my life. But yeah, the only reason I'm keeping stuff that I wouldn't even buy for $1 or $1 is that the yarn was expensive and I put a lot of time in it. So yeah, it's a little bit sad, but you're gonna see at the end how much of those garments are worth $1 for me or not, and yeah, you will see. So that was the bonus question. And I just wanted to mention again that I have a super sensitive skin, like really super sensitive. So a lot of my garments are actually not wearable for me because they are itchy, but keep in mind that most people are not as sensitive as I am, so if I cannot stand the yarn, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be too itchy for you. So don't take my word as like the only truth out there. And I also have a lot of fit issues with a lot of my garments because of my athletic build, because I started climbing a few years ago and my body has changed a lot. And a lot of the fit issues I have are not usual, so if something doesn't fit me, it really doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to fit you at the same place. So just keep that in mind. And the last thing I wanted to mention, which is super important, is that I'm gonna have the names of all the yarns and patterns I mentioned on the screen, but you can also find links to everything in the description below, as well as my measurements. I'm never gonna tell them out loud, so if you want to have more details about my shape, you can find that at the end of the description as well. So, I think now this is everything I wanted to say. Oh no, one more thing. I managed to cut the first episode, kind of on purpose and kind of not really, exactly where I started doing the podcast, which means that everything you see in today's video is garments are garments I have talked about in the podcast. So if you watched me from the beginning, from episode 1, or if you have binge watched all the episodes, which some of you seem to have done, thank you by the way, you will already have seen them, so I'm going to go pretty quickly through them. But yeah, I just thought I would mention, if you have a déjà vu feeling, that's why. So yeah, without further ado, I think that's all I wanted to say, and we can jump right into it with the first garment. The next one is my most worn knit ever. It's this guy. This is the outline tank, I think, by Jessie May. and it's knit using Olivia and Oliver Fibers classic sock in the colorway Cenote, Cenote, I don't know this, and it's perfect. That's all I have to say. It's perfect. Except I flash people when I lean forward. I'm not gonna show you, but yeah, it's the only thing I would have to say about this. But the fit is absolutely perfect. I have room to move and to breathe. It's lightweight. Even when I sweat in it, it's not too unbearable for me because it's just a merino nylon sock yarn, and the color is gorgeous. I have no pulling. I modified the bottom to have a double knit, no, not double knit, but folded over stockinette instead of ribbing, and it's not flaring out at all. I did an amazing job, and it's just perfect. That's it. So this guy is totally S tier for sure. I wear it all the time. The yarn held beautifully. It's a fingering weight. I had quite an open gauge, but the yarn just poofed up, and it's absolutely completely opaque. You cannot see anything through it. So I recommend both the pattern and the yarn. 100% for sure. It's just gorgeous. The next one is the Simplistic Rib Cami by Leela, and I can never remember which one is the front or the back, but I think I did it correctly. Yeah, and this is knit using the same yarn is the West Yorkshire Spinners Blueface Leicester fleece thing DK that I used for the Park and Knit design, and it's itchy. What was I expecting? It was already itchy in the other one, so it was gonna be itchy in this one too. So yeah, it's a shame because other than that, perfect. I mean, it's way too warm for a summer garment, but I mean the shaping is gorgeous. It was so complicated to have this neckline. It's named the Simplistic Rib Cami, but there is nothing simplistic about it. To get this shape, it was... There were a lot of different increase rates. But it's worth it. I mean, it's so cute. I added some body shaping. But yeah, it's itchy and it's too warm. And again, it's a little bit too short to be a layering piece, and it's itchy anyway, so I'm just never wearing it. Which is a shame, because really, this one is like... This could be S tier, for sure, easily. But I think you're like B or even C. I'm gonna say B. No, it's so itchy, I just can't. C. I'm sorry. This is so uncomfortable. I really need to knit this guy again in another yarn, but yeah. Unfortunately, C tier. And I never wear it. The yarn held up well, though. And I recommend the pattern, and I recommend the yarn, but not together. Alright, we are entering a t-shirt season. So this one is the Tolsta Tee by Ozeta, and it's knit using Estiva by Lani Vendole, and it's gorgeous, but it's itchy! Yay! I'm so tired of myself. Yeah, so I had to modify it so much to make it fit me, because, again, because of my big back situation, I had to add, I think, 1/3 of the length of the v-neck, because before I did that, I tried it on, I blocked it and everything, and it was like this. I'm not kidding, it was between my collarbones, because the back was pulling so much on the fabric that the v-neck was just not v-necking. So I had to add a lot of length, I had to add a lot more length here. I completely changed the increase rate so that it would fall down a little bit lower. And I had to do satin sleeves because the straight sleeve was just not working for me. I had to add some more fabric there to have a little bit more room because of all of this. I changed everything. But it's great. And all of that for a garment that is itchy, so I don't wear it. And it's a shame because it's just so cute. And I love the color. I wear it because I forced myself to do so because it was so much work and I just love the way it looks. But yeah, I kind of suffer every time I put it on, so I would say this is B tier. I can suffer through wearing it one day sometimes, but yeah, there's not a lot of joy coming out of it. The yarn held beautifully. It's a linen and wool blend. I think it's 30% linen, but it's super warm though. I'm really sweating right now. It's classified as a summer yarn, but it's not because you add linen to wool that it suddenly becomes summer friendly, in my opinion. This one isn't. It's a lace weight though, but yeah, I don't know, it's just too warm. I recommend the pattern and the yarn if you are not too sensitive to itchy wools. I really don't think this yarn is itchy, but it's just, for me it is. So this one is the Tolsta Tee by Rebecca Clow, and it's knit using Antigone by Dahlia Natura, which is 100% linen, as you can tell by the logo drape. And I'm saying it's the Tolsta Tee, but actually it has nothing to do with the Tolsta anymore, because the only thing I kept from the original design is the cast on number. But I changed the placement of the raglan, I changed the increase rates, I made it a compound raglan, I changed the short rows, I changed everything. It's not the same design anymore. I also did folded over hems, as I always do. And this is one of my most worn garments, thanks to all the modifications I did, because I finished it the first time following the pattern and the fit was terrible for me. It was absolutely not working. It was like, I mean, it was fitting like this, I think, and I had some weird bunching here because it's a straight raglan and there were absolutely not enough short rows, and there were, for me and my needs, they were not placed in the right place. So yeah, anyway. So I'm super happy about it now, and I think this makes it S tier, really, because I'm literally living in it. And I wash it in the washing machine. I just throw it in a delicate cycle. I've washed it maybe 4 times and it's just brand as new. It looks great. So the yarn is gorgeous, I totally recommend. And I recommend the pattern. No, I don't recommend the pattern, sorry. I can't. Just because I have special needs regarding fitting, and I just cannot get away with simple shapings. I'm very happy for you if you can, but it's not my case, so I can't recommend this pattern, because if you are a body that has a little bit more curves and shapes than usual, this pattern won't work for you. It just won't be comfortable, so I don't think I recommend it, unfortunately. This one is a test knit I did for Jessie May. It's the framework raglan, I think. It's supposed to be a sweater, but I modified it to have short sleeves, and it's too big. It's the only thing I have to say against it, it's just too big. Other than that, I really love it, and I am living in it in the winter, because if I wear this during summer and I don't have anything on top of it, I'm not going to show, but it's very, very big on me. I have a lot of positive ease, like really. I mean, I have this much. The v-neck is, yeah, I'm just showing everything. I knit size 2 and I follow the sizing recommendation, but Jessie May is great for size inclusivity and she has a big size range, but the smaller sizes tend, in my opinion, and from my experience, the smaller sizes tend to be a little bit, I don't know, they just don't really do well with the fact that smaller sizes have often an upper bust that's bigger or the same size as the bust, and it just makes things work in a different way, and in this case that's why yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's just too big. You need to choose your size based on your upper bust, which I usually do anyway, but since this is graded for upper bust and not taking into account that the full bust is smaller than the upper bust, there is this situation happening. It makes me so sad, because I love it so much. Actually, I can show you, it's funny because on the front, I mean, it's obviously too big, there is so much creases, and whenever I do this, there is like this thing that's happening, it's just too big, but when I turn around, the back is fine. It's completely correct size for me. Everything is falling in the right place. I don't have weird bunching or anything. So usually what I need to do is make the back 1 or 2 sizes bigger than the front, and then do rapid decreases on the front to get rid of the excess fabric, like this. But I didn't do it for this one because it was a test knit, and yeah. The yarn I use is Candid by Dahlia Natura, and it's one of the very few wool blends that I find absolutely not itchy. This is like a store-bought cotton t-shirt for me. I really don't feel the yarn at all. So I would say B tier, because I still wear it a lot when I can wear something on top of it, and it's really comfortable, and it's a nice garment, but it's just not very practical. The yarn is holding up beautifully. I recommend the pattern. Really, it's a gorgeous pattern and gorgeous design. Be careful if you're on the smaller sizes. Please size down if you're on the smaller sizes and you are flat like me. And I definitely recommend the yarn. Next one is my second attempt at the Soho top by K3. Because when I noticed the first one was getting too small at the underarms, I started this one. This is knit using Pearl Soho linen quill, but the worsted weight. And it's the itchier thing I have ever put on my skin. Like, I can't, it's impossible, it's way too itchy. And I was so confident that it would be fine because so many people wear linen quill as a summer fiber and just wear it next to skin and for shawls and everything, and nobody has ever complained about it being itchy. But it's like, I am dying. I want to scrape this off myself. It's just unbearable. Which is a shame because it looks so great, and I loved having a black tank top for summer. But yeah, also it's worsted weight and it's wool, so it's just too warm anyway. But I was full of hopes and I was completely let down. But yeah. For this one I did add length to the back only. I'm completely off gauge because this is worsted and the pattern is DK anyway. But yeah, I did some calculations and I added a little bit more. And here you can see I have a lot of room here. And I don't wear a bra anyway, so I don't really care if this is going too low. So the fit is perfect, but it's itchy. So I would say B tier, because yeah, the only limiting factor is that it's itchy. Because if it's warm, it's okay, I can wear it in the winter, and it's long enough to cover my belly, so yeah, the only problem is that it's itchy. So I never wear it. The yarn holds beautifully, and I recommend the pattern and the yarn, but not together and not if you are sensitive. The next one is the Dahlia bralette by Joanne Ho, knitwear by Joan on Instagram, and it's a test knit I did for her upcoming book about summer knits that's gonna come out on summer 2025, and it's just a backless bralette, really. There is not much to say about it. I did modify the straps. I added this crisscrossing because originally this was connected here and it was just falling over the shoulder. So I did this, but now I have a little bit of gaping happening here, so I need to add another tie, I think, from the back. I'm going to lengthen the bottom one to cross here, and then I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something. But other than that, beautiful, gorgeous, I really like it. I've never worn it though, because I just finished it at the beginning of this year, and because of the back situation, which is a shame. I really need to wear this guy. It's knit using Candide by Dahlia Natura, again. It's one of my favorite yarns. It's just so soft and so great for summer because it's sports, but it knits at a DK gauge, so it's super lightweight, and there's a lot of cotton and it's soft, and I love it. So I know the yarn holds beautifully because I have knit a lot of stuff with it and it held great. And I recommend the pattern if you modify the straps, but it's not out yet, so you cannot knit it anyway. And I recommend the yarn. I forgot about the tier. I don't know, I've never worn it, but if the back is sold, I think A tier for sure. It's really lovely, completely my style, I love it. Perfect for summer. Alright, I will go a little bit faster because now we are entering into what I've talked about in podcasts this year, in the latest few months, so if you have watched those, you know everything about them already, and if you haven't, you can go and watch them. So this is a self-drafted camisole, and if you remember at the beginning of the video, I told you to remember the store-bought camisole I was wearing, and this is my first attempt at trying to replicate it. So as you can see, it has absolutely not the same vibe, because I was using a DK weight. So this is Noro Kakigori in the colorway Inazawa, and this is leftover from the two tops I showed earlier where I was complaining that the yarn was the silk single ply that was sticking to the body. And this was the nugget I had left over. Because the purple was also left over and it was too short, so I just added this to get a little bit more length. So now the length is... I would have preferred if I could tuck it inside my skirt, but I can't, but it's okay. I think it works anyway. And I didn't have enough yarn to do the same big shape the store-bought cami had, so I ended up with this. And I just added a little bit of an elastic in because I really didn't want the bottom hem to flare because it's a folded over and it's DK weight, so DK weights tend to do that. But now it's kind of cinching in, so I'm not really sure. I like to wear it. Now I have added elastics into the strap, but before it was like really showing a little bit too much. But now it's really great. So I would say this guy is... I was hesitant between A and B tier, but I think I'm gonna say B because I'm not a fan of this. It's a little bit too low and the yarn is DK, so it's a little bit too warm. So I don't think it earns a place in the A tier. So B tier. I wear it quite often, but I finished it 2 months ago, so yeah. But the yarn is holding up well. I cannot really recommend the pattern because there is no pattern, and I recommend the yarn. I don't think it's the best for summer, but if you don't live in a climate that's too hot, I think it works. Alright, I just filmed the outro of the first summer garment episode, so if you make it this far, you can now connect timelines. But I have a little bit of battery left, so I'm just going to continue until it runs out, and I will finish filming tomorrow. So the next one is the mini mock neck tank, yes, by Jessie May, and this is also knit using Olivia and Oliver Fibers classic sock. The colorway is Lofoten Islands, and I love it. I mean, she is so talented with colors, I just love everything she does. So yeah, this yarn is absolutely gorgeous, and it was actually knit in another summer garment before, but I was never wearing it because it was too small, because I had only one skein, and it was kind of an oversized drop shoulder, and you don't have enough yarn in one skein to do such an oversized garment, so I unraveled everything to knit this, which is a fitted garment, so I had a lot more yarn, and I actually had a lot of yarn left, maybe 20 grams. So yeah, this is the mini mock neck, the very famous one. And I mentioned already that Jessie May is amazing for size inclusivity and everything, but as I said, she tends to have a little bit of fit issues in the smaller sizes, and this is a perfect example because for smaller sizes, when you don't have a lot of bust, you really don't need extra fabric on the front. And a lot of people that knit this, a lot of podcasters that knit these garments and published it on YouTube, mentioned that they had extra fabric on the front and it was bunching. I mean, I modified it so I don't have the issue, but it was bunching, so I think Knitty Natty had to cut into it and remove a whole inch and then graft it back together. And Amy from Knit mentioned that she had too much fabric here, and that is because small sizes just don't have a lot of breast tissue, so you just don't need extra fabric there. And this is caused because, as I was complaining before, the back needs to be longer than the front. And if they are the same length, the front here on the collar is gonna get stuck on the front neck, and then all the fabric that cannot go higher because it's stuck here is going to bunch up there. So that's why you need extra fabric on the front. Because that way it's going to sit more naturally on you, and the underarm is going to be a little bit lower, because if you don't do it, the underarm is going to get pulled up like this, so the whole thing is getting pulled up, and then you have this. You have extra fabric. So if you add length to the back, the underarm can go lower, and then this is at a normal tension if you don't have any breast, like small sizes do. So what's funny is that actually in the pattern, Jessie May tells you very clearly to not add length to the back, but it's a very bad advice. So I added length to the back. I think I added like 3 centimeters, and now it's perfect. I have the back here that's coming at a reasonable height, and the front is not choking me. and I don't have any gaping, it's not cutting into my lats here, and the fit is perfect. I wear this quite a bit, except it's a high neck, so for summer it's a little bit too warm because I sweat a lot from this area for some reason, so it's not really suitable for really hot summer weather, so I think it's gonna be better for like spring and fall, which I haven't had this for yet, so we will know in a month if I can actually wear it more or not. But yeah, the yarn is a tiny bit itchy because of all the negative E's. It's really close to my skin, and it's funny because the other one I showed, the outline tank, is absolutely not itchy, but it's because it has positive E's. So I don't wear it because it's not the season yet. The yarn, I know it holds super great because I have something else in it, and I recommend the pattern. If you're a smaller size, please add length to the back. And I would say this is, if I take it as a spring and fall garment, S tier. If I wanted it to be a summer garment, A tier, because I cannot wear it in summer. But I think for transitional seasons and as a layering piece, S tier for sure. Spoiler alert, favorite garment ever. I think I already said that for another one, but yeah, because they are tied, I love this one so much. I think I even prefer this one to the outline tank that I said earlier that it was my favorite. I lied, this is my favorite. This is the Leela top by Kate Riley. I test knit this design for her. It's the fingering weight version of the Soho top that I have made 2 of, by the way. And it's knit using Pernel by Natisea, which is 100% hemp, and it has an absolutely gorgeous drape. I mean, I just can't believe it. And it's perfect. I have nothing to say about it. It's perfect. I did modify the pattern. I added, as always, some length to the back. I actually added a whole pattern repeat because there is a striping detail, and I added one whole pattern to the back so that the back sits higher than the front, because I really don't like this. So the underarm is a little bit too deep, but again, I don't care because I don't wear any bra. And I am not flashing anyone. I really love this kind of boat neck. I love the way it flops like this. I'm gonna show you afterwards another one that's knit in a different yarn, and in a different yarn it's absolutely not working. And this looks great because of the drape of the fabric. So I think the pairing of the pattern and the yarn was just chef's kiss. So this is S tier for sure for me. It's perfect for summer. It's super breathable and lightweight, and even if I sweat in it, it doesn't get weird against my skin or anything. It's really just great. I wear it all the time. The yarn is holding up perfectly. Actually, it's getting softer and softer with wear, and I love it. And I definitely recommend the pattern as well as the yarn. This is also a test knit, but this one for Ozetta. It's the lace stripe tee. Lace stripe tee, yes. And it's the lace, so it has the saddle shoulder detail like all the legs sweater, legs v-neck sweater, legs tee, whatever have. And it has stripes. And I thought it was just exactly the legs tee but with stripes, but it's not. Because it is graded in a way that like for example the saddle shoulder in the smaller sizes have 3 stripes on them, and when you switch to the 3 middle sizes it has 4 stripes, and the last 3 bigger sizes have 5 stripes. So it's graded in a way that the stripes work perfectly in the design, so it is not the same pattern as just the legs tee. Just so you know, there is a difference. I was wondering when I applied for the test knit, but there is a difference. And this is knit using Isea 302. The colorways, it's like a purpley blue and like apple green. And as I mentioned, I am obsessed with green and purple together, and I just love this so much. I have never liked stripes for some reason, but I realized after knitting this, actually what I don't like is neutral colors in stripes. Like a color with a neutral, I just don't like it, but 2 colors together, wow! So as always, I did some modifications, so I did folded over stockinette for all the edgings, because I don't like ribbing in summer garments. That's how I am. And again, I added one whole pattern repeat, I mean stripe repeat to the back, but I did fudge a little bit with the placement of the first stripe because one whole repeat was too much. So I had to do a little bit of fiddling around to make this work, and the back is still a little bit too long, and you can see this because when I am like this, the back is a little bit lower than the front. That's because I mean one whole pattern repeat was a little bit too much, but I had to do with it anyway because otherwise the stripes wouldn't match at the underarm. But I prefer for it to be too long than too short anyway. So yeah, I think this one is, I think it's S tier really. It's gorgeous. I love the color, I love the fit, I love the modifications I made, I love the feeling of the yarn, and it's perfect. I just love it so much. So yeah, I didn't wear it a lot because it's been too hot since I finished it. But from what I've worn it, the yarn holds beautifully, and I recommend the pattern for sure. Again, I recommend adding some length to the yarn, but that's me. For this one I think it can work if you don't add the length. It will probably fit a little bit more like this, so the neckline will be a little bit higher, but it's deep enough that it's not gonna be bothering even if you don't add anything. So yeah. Oh, I also added some back neck shaping, which is another reason why I really love the fit of this. You might recognize this one, it's the Leela top again. And this is a perfect example of a pattern can be perfect in a certain yarn and be terrible in another. So this is my leftover yarn from L'Anivendole when I need the Moonset Tee. But it has the same issue as in the first garment. It's itchy! Of course. I mean, it's okay. It's not, there is a lot less fabric and it was itchy like where it was resting on me. So this is, I can live with it. It's a little bit itchy there, but it's okay. I can live with it. But the pattern is absolutely not working with this. I don't know, for some reason this is bothering me a lot. And what's happening there is that you have the garter stripes going on. So this has a certain row gauge, but on the sides here there is no garter at all. So this has a different row gauge. And for some reason with the wool blend you have a like curve shape, and this just behaves differently than this, so you have a little bit of a this. It's difficult to show with the light, but it's... And I did steam block the edge here so that I don't have a fold in the fabric, but it's still doing it. I don't like the way this falls on me. Like, what? I have a tent at the underarm. I just really don't like the way this looks. I mean, just look. It's just standing on its own. So yeah, I need this guy and I never worn it. So C tier, I think, really. I just don't like it. And it's itchy and it's wool and it's a little bit too warm. So it's not really fitting for summer anyway, and yeah, it just doesn't work. I just don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I know, I just hoped it would work, but of course it didn't. This I couldn't have known before. I mean, I could, but I just didn't consider it would be a problem because it wasn't a problem in the first version. But it is. When the yarn doesn't have enough drape, it holds up by itself a little bit too much and it does this. So yeah, I know the yarn is beautiful and works well. I recommend the pattern, but not with this yarn. This guy is the second attempt at replicating the store-bought cami I showed at the beginning of the first part of this video. And this one is working a lot better, so the shape is almost the same. And if I wear it like I intended to, which is inside a high-waisted bottom, I can get kind of the same feeling of what I was wearing the store-bought cami I showed. So I'm super proud of this, I'm super happy. The yarn I use is BC Yarn Lino, which is 100% linen fingering weight, and it's gorgeous. I just love the drape. I don't really flash anyone when I lean forward, and I'm just so proud of what I did here. So yeah, again, it's self-drafted. I had to go back and shorten the straps. I mean, I haven't woven the ends yet because I'm still not 100% sure it's the correct length, because I think I still could have gone a little bit shorter, but if I do this, it's better for the cleavage situation, but then I cannot tuck it into my skirt anymore. So I'm hesitant. But it also stretches out a bit with wear, so I need to wear it for another day and see if it moves again. Or I just need to maybe add a thread of cotton inside the strap so that it stops stretching out. So yeah, this is... I don't know if it's an S or an A. Excellent question. I think I would say A, because I cannot wear it with everything. For example, with this skirt, I think the length is just weird. It's just not doing my shape justice. I just look like a square. So it's not okay with every bottom, so I would say maybe A tier. And the yarn is beautiful, it only gets softer with wear. And I cannot really recommend the pattern because there is no pattern again. I'm just doing this for me. And I totally recommend the yarn for sure. It's really gorgeous. The next one is the Arrow bralette by Iris Makes, Iris H on Instagram. And it's the second time I knit this, but the first one I frogged completely because I wanted to use the yarn for something else. This is knit using Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, which is super thin. So I had to knit this guy on 2.25mm needles, which are, yes, the needles you use for sock. So this is basically a sock gauge, which means I was completely off gauge for the pattern, which means I had the number of stitches of the second to largest size. Yeah, but I still knit it in less than 10 days, so yeah, I guess it wasn't too much for me. And I really love the result. I think the super small gauge is just gorgeous. It works so well with the design. I really love the arrow shaping here, and yeah, I'm just super happy about it. It's so perfect for summer. It's a little bit see-through, yes I know, but I mean, I had already gone down so many needle sizes. I could have knit it on 2mm needles, but then I think I was completely off the chart and I would have to do my own thing for the thing because I wouldn't have found a size that had the correct stitch count. So yeah, I couldn't really go down any more needle sizes, and I don't think it would have solved the opacity issue. So I think this is A tier, just because yeah, it's a little bit see-through unfortunately. But yeah, other than that, it's really great. Perfect for summer, super lightweight, super comfortable, everything. And I wear it often. I mean, I have finished it maybe a month ago, so I don't really know. The yarn is holding up great until now, and I recommend the pattern for sure. And the yarn also, but maybe not together. I think you could even hold the yarn double and get gauge on this one, and avoid this situation. Alright, this is the last top. So this is also a self-drafted design. I use Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and I love it. I really love this yarn. It was my first time using it and I'm super happy about it. And I had to go back and add some elastic into the straps because it was stretching out a lot. But now I think it's fine. I'm still unsure because I think the elastics are a little bit too tight and it's doing kind of a squiggly thing. So maybe I need to go back and replace the elastic with a stable yarn so that I don't have this situation. But yeah, I wanted it to be a little bit longer, first because I had enough yarn to do so and I had just started the second ball when I realized I could have knitted with only one. So I wanted to make the most out of the second ball. I made it long enough to tuck it inside my bottoms like this. I'm obsessed with this look, can you tell? I just love it. So that's my favorite way to wear it, and it's the perfect length. And it's just so great for summer. I've been wearing it in super hot days where I was sweating like a little pig, and it was just great. So yeah, super happy about this one. I think if I correct the straps, S tier for sure, because I can wear it with a high-waisted button and also with the pants that are a little bit shorter. So this is super versatile for me. So really S tier, I love it. I'm still not 100% convinced about the color. I think it's a little bit too close for my complexion, but I can make it work and I feel confident in it anyway, so I guess it's fine. I cannot recommend the pattern again because there is no pattern, sorry. And I recommend the yarn, for sure. I knit this on 3mm needles, it's not see-through, and it's gorgeous. So now we are done with the summer tops, but I have a bonus category of dresses and skirts. So this is the Knit Girl Summer Dress by Joanne Ho, knitwear by Joan. And it's a super cute dress, except you cannot see the bottom. And I have modified it quite a bit, but it's still not really working. I am never wearing it because first I knit the top part too short, that's completely on me. I just did it too short. And here the waistband is actually sitting way higher than I would want to. It should be maybe 2 centimeters, 1 inch lower, but if I don't put it higher like this, you can see really too much cleavage. So it's a good thing that you cannot see the bottom because it's actually way too short, because I have pulled it higher to hide this and now it's too short on the bottom. And I just remembered when putting it on that this is actually the very first iteration of the Skeeter Skirt, because this dress has a straight body. I mean, it has some increases for the hips, but it's a straight bottom and it has a split hem. But I didn't want this look, I just don't like wearing that kind of stuff, so I just modified it completely on the go to make it a skater style, like this. And it's actually the first time I knit the Skeeter Skirt. This is the cotton by We Are Knitters, and it's very thick cotton, and I used I think 5 or 4mm needles, I don't remember, it was just too small, so it's working absolutely great for the top part, but the skirt is a little bit too thick. I mean, you can't really see, can you? I'm going to try to put you down. Please excuse the mess. So I just think it hasn't enough drape, it's a little bit stiff. I don't really like the way it falls, so I should have knit the bottom part on bigger needles. And it's too short. I mean, it's like a mini length, just because this is too high. But the problem is that you cast on the waistband and then you knit bottom up for the top and then you knit top down for the skirt, which is great. Except if I want to add length here, I need to either undo the whole 4 cups, I mean the whole I-cross that are 6 meters long, and the 4 cups and a little bit of the body, and then knit it longer, and then knit again all those things, and undo the whole skirt, undo the pickup, and start again with the bigger needles. So what I think I will do is just cut here the whole thing, unravel everything. I need to unravel the skirt anyway, so it won't change anything, and then start knitting again from the top longer, and then do the same thing as this, but in kind of reverse anyway. You don't really need to have details about this, but yeah, that's my plan. But it's been, I think, 3 years and I haven't done it yet. I really need to get going on this. So that's my dress, the Knit Girl Summer Dress. I really love it. I mean, it's so cute with the detail here. It's just a genius pattern, but I messed up. I really messed up. But at least it sparked a great idea for me. So the next one you have already seen if you follow my podcast. It's my latest finished object. I finished it last week, and it's the last iteration of the store-bought cami I showed you at the beginning and that I tried 2 versions of, and this one is the 3rd, except this time I made it into a dress. And I added a tie here so that I could close it and have the same like bunching thing that I like. And yeah, I have a dress. I'm going to insert b-rolls. It's gonna be easier to see than me trying to jump and move the camera to show you. I forgot to say the tier for the dress. So the dress, as is, C tier, I think. Maybe not D because it's still cute and wearable and the yarn is soft and everything. But C tier because there is so many things I want to change on it. And I never wear it. The dress, the red dress from earlier. I recommend the pattern and I recommend the yarn, and that's it. For this one, this is A tier, but if I do some modifications, S tier for sure. So first, the straps have stretched out a lot and I need to either shorten them, at least like this, because there is a little bit too much of this happening. So I need to shorten them or add a piece of cotton inside so that they stop stretching out. And it would also be a little bit better for the cleavage. So I need to shorten the straps, and I also think the bottom is slightly bit too long. But I'm still not 100% sure about that one. So between A and S, but let's say S because I am going to shorten the straps. So S tier for this beautiful dress, and it's knit using thin linen by Senesgown. Yeah, so I wear it often, even though I finished it in the last week, and the yarn is holding great until now. It's kind of stretching out a lot, but I knew it going into it. I cannot recommend the pattern again because there is no pattern, and I recommend the yarn, of course, even though I don't have a lot of experience with it. That's it for my two dresses, I think. And I just wanted to mention also my two skirts, the Skeeter skirts that I already mentioned with the dress, and I'm again going to insert B-rolls of me wearing it because you cannot see my bottom here. So the first skirt is knit using Antigone by Dahlia Natura, and it's a skater style, but it doesn't have a lot of flare, so it's kind of fitted on the top, and then you get the cute flare and drape at the bottom. And this one, I wouldn't say S tier, I would say A tier, because it's slightly bit too short. And it's really a shame because actually it was longer, but I shortened it. But I shortened it thinking I would add a hem to avoid curling, but when I unraveled it, I noticed it wasn't curling at all. So I just bound off, but I was still missing this small centimeter that I was planning to add, but I didn't. So it's a little bit too short. So I cannot wear it everywhere because I don't want to have something this short like at work or something. So A tier because of that. And I wear it a lot, I have washed it a lot, and I recommend the pattern, of course, because it's my first pattern. It's going to be released at the beginning of October, if you're interested. And I recommend the yarn, of course. Antigone by Dahlia Natura is like incredible. The quality is incredible. It's of course 100% linen yarn, so it's very hard on the hands, but I don't find it really problematic, at least for me, so just try. And trust the process, because it really feels weird at first, but once it's washed and blocked, if it's only washed and blocked, it still feels weird, but when you move it around a little bit, that's when it gets soft. But not immediately after you block it. Last battery change. I think this one will hold up long enough for me to finish filming today. We'll see. So, the last summer garment I want to talk about is also a Skeeter skirt. It's my second sample, and it's knit using, again, Candide by Dahlia Natura, which I absolutely love. And it's gorgeous. I was afraid of what the drape would look like with such a... It's a woolen spun, it's kind of not thick but very airy and doesn't have a lot of drape, but actually the drape is gorgeous. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm so impressed with the quality of the yarn for this one. And this version of the skirt is the large flare. The first one was the small flare, this one is the large flare, so it's an actual semicircle, so an actual skater style skirt. That's difficult to say. And it has pockets, and it's gorgeous, and I haven't worn it a ton because it's still a little bit thicker than, for example, fingering weight like this, so it's been a little bit too warm during this summer to wear it, which is a shame. But I think in the beginning of the fall it will be perfect. So I'll probably get a lot of wear out of it then. I would say A tier, because it's a little bit too thick for real summer. Still quite good. I know the yarn holds up great, and I recommend the pattern again for the same reason. And just like that, we are done with the summer knits. I don't think I have forgotten anything, I hope so. I mean, even if I had, I showed so many garments in those two videos. I mean, yeah. As I said in the intro, I just love summer knitting. It's just my favorite time of the year. I'm absolutely obsessed with the shorts and cute stuff, and it's just my jam, so yeah. The general thing that comes out of this is that there is, I think, no D tier garment in this ranking, and that's because actually anything that's really like unbearable, I don't like the feel, I don't like the look, and it's not fitting and everything, I just take out of this rack. I mean, I need to have it hanging with the others, so I have a pile of garments there that have absolutely no positive points to them. And those are the D tiers, and that's why you haven't really seen any today. It's because they are out. I think I have 4 summer tops in there. So yeah, I do have some really bad stuff, but not here. And yeah, mainly I think those that have the best grades are my latest works, except for the 2 surprises of the 2 garments I tried on, and I was like, oh, this fits actually super great. I still can't believe it, but yeah. And mainly a lot of reasons why garments don't work for me is because I outgrew them on the shoulders. That's the case more than half of the time, if not all of the time, when I don't wear something, or it's itchy. They are the 2 main reasons. And you will maybe have noticed that everything I have knit this year, except one, which is this guy, the Leela top with the wool blend, nothing is itchy. So I have learned my lesson, and I have actually stopped knitting with yarns that won't feel great against my skin. So I did a lot of trial and error during my knitting journey, but I have actually learned a lot from all of this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that's the most important, I think. I hope you will learn from my mistakes, and that doing these videos will save you some time by avoiding those mistakes. So yeah, I hope you will get something out of all of this, and I hope this will be useful to you. Yeah, it would be wonderful if I could help you out in any way. Yeah, as I said at the end of the first video, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I had to go pretty fast because I have a lot of knitting to show, so I didn't say anything about the sizes I knit or I didn't mention all of the modifications I made and everything. So if you want more info, you can either ask in the comments, or you can go and take a look at my Instagram. I have a lot of information there, and you can also watch my latest podcasts. They go back to a year and a few months, so if you take a look at the thumbnails, you can maybe find the garment you want more info on, and then you can maybe find an answer to your question, or you can just ask in the comments. So yeah, I think that's all. Now the bonus question was, would I buy this garment for $1 or $1? And I think I haven't changed my mind. I think everything that's in the S or A tier I would buy, even for $1 or for $50 I would buy. Maybe not 50, but but everything that's under, I think has no business being in my closet. I just don't need them, really. So I think I can say that if you are interested by any of the pieces I have shown that are in the B, C or D tier, and that you think they could fit you, and that you think the yarn would be itchy or anything, you can send me a message on Instagram and claim them. I think I will just send them to you. There are a few exceptions, so maybe just ask first, because there are a few exceptions. There are some of them I want to modify to make them higher. For example, this dress, I would like to modify it to make it wearable for me, so it's not in the A or S tier, but I'm still not going to send it out even if you ask for it. But a lot of other stuff, like, I don't know, the Soho top that's knit in linen quill. If you are not sensitive to linen quill and you would like it, just ask for it. I will send it to you, really. Just pay for shipping. I'm not gonna pay for shipping overseas, but yeah. I would love for those to find happy homes, because this is just making me sad. And it's taking up a lot of space. Maya from the future, again, because if you hadn't noticed, the intro was filmed now, I mean later, because I somehow completely forgot to film the intro of the second video, even though I filmed the outro of the first video. Whatever. I just wanted to add that for the up for grab thing, I said you can contact me via Instagram, but no, that's a lie. Please send me an email. That's gonna be much easier for me to manage. So my email is at the top of the description below and on the screen. So please send me an email if you want something. And I will actually put in the description next to the garment if it is available to claim or not. Because not everything that's below A tier is going to be available, because sometimes I have a special attachment to it, simply. And also, in other cases, I would like to use the yarn for something else, so I plan to frog it. And before claiming anything, please, 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 please check out my measurements below and check that yours are smaller than mine. Except for one garment, I think everything I have up for grab is too small for me. And I am aware that I have small measurements already, so please check that you are smaller than me, because I really don't want to send something so that it just slips in another person's closet. That would be the worst, because if I keep it, at least I can unravel it and use the yarn again. But yeah, I know the temptation to ask for free stuff is very hard to fight, but please do not ask for free stuff if you're not absolutely sure you're gonna wear it and you'll be able to wear it. So other than that, it's gonna be first come first serve, so the first people to claim a garment and that pays for shipping is gonna receive it. And I will mark every garment that has already been claimed, so that if you watch this video in like 2 months and you want something, you can know right away if it's available or not. So, as a summary, you can claim garments that are C or B tier, and check in the description first if they are available or not, because not all of them are. If they are and your measurements match what I'm showing in the video, then you can send me an email, send me your address or any question you might have, and then we can arrange for payment. You just need to pay for the shipping, and then I will send it out to you. And then once the item is sent, I will mark it as unavailable in the box. I think that's it. So I'll let you go back to present my yarn for the end of the video. So yeah, that's my gift, my bonus gift to you. And I hope you enjoyed these 2 videos and this look into my closet, kind of. So I will see you again, I think, for a regular podcast episode. You can subscribe if you don't want to miss that, or any other content I might put out in the time being. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!